Yeah, so today is going to be a culmination of everything that we have covered regarding audits. And so what we're going to be doing is, now that we've actually done the audits, now what we're going to do is taking the results of those audits, putting them all together, and then figuring out a roadmap. We start off with a project workflow, which is just a Google Doc where we jot down ideas, and then we translate that into a slide deck. I think our slide deck, of course, is still going to need some tweaking before it's presented, but you'll get a very good overview on what it is, the information we're presenting, and what is the solution. Yeah, it's going to look like that, and it's going to cover the big takeaways that we found. And this website definitely, oh boy, were there some
you all have seen this. We shared one like this with you. This is actually one we've done for a client now. So yeah, and we're going to take you through the audits. And now we haven't done this before. So Phelan and I usually spend.
Well, hold on. I just want to clarify what we haven't done before is show people, reveal behind the curtain a little bit on what it is that we do. This is usually Pip and I going over this, and we do this. So showing this to other people in this process, it may be a little rough around the edges, to be expected. Sorry, just wanted to clarify that part.
Yeah, thank you. So we do this a lot, but we don't often share the inner workings of it. We create a little roadmap. So this is the outcome of the product, right? So this can change. We always give 3 steps, which are either technical, on page or off page, or Google Business Pro, depending on the client, because every audit is going to be a little bit different, because every business is a little bit different, right? So you're going to potentially pick different audits if you're e-commerce versus local, or both. We go through key takeaways. A lot of the time, we also we record a meeting where we ask a whole bunch of questions. We list out who their clientele are, and we list out who their clientele are and what their goals are, so we can match their goals to what they want. I'm actually listening to a meeting right now, going through all the goals the client wants, because they say a lot in the meeting. And if you catch it all, you can actually be their #1 resource for most of their stuff, because you're actually known as a listener. Sorry about the puppies. And then we do positive things we found, high-level takeaways, all the things and the stuff. But where we really work is here. Phelan and I both did different audits. So Phelan, what audits did you do?
I put together which one's here? The content audit and the on-page technical audit. Now, usually I could knock these out in an hour if I really set my mind to it and I was really dedicated. This one, which I won't go into great detail, but this site was broken. They had some bad things happening on this website. So it took me a long time just to get the Screaming Frog audit done. So yes, we also have the page speed insights. We have a direct link. So fun fact for you guys, you can just copy the URL that's in the very top. You'll notice it actually says the Craig Mick. And so that's actually the URL broken down with into the character form, so that way we can just copy that link, post it in, and so the client doesn't even need to go look for it. They could just click it and see what the experience says. Survey, and it will not surprise you that they do really poorly on mobile. Most websites do. Look at that, 24, though they have, Pip, go down on the mobile, please. Scroll down. There's one thing unique to this one that I've never seen before. Keep going. Yeah, there we go. Warning. I have not seen warnings ever elicited there, which is definitely things like that, or definitely things to bring to the client's attention. You are muted. I can hear you through the door, but that's not going to be helpful to everyone else.
The puppies are all like honestly, it's like they went to the best concert ever, and it's the aftermath. Like, so there's like pop cans and all those things on the ground for them. They're like, yeah, anyway. Okay, I digress. Phelan, there's no link here. Where's my workflow link?
Oh, okay, give me 1 second.
So we would add that. So we would basically, what we do is we do all the audits and we make lists of all the things we see. Anything with warning or severe, we jot down to tell the clients. Now, this stuff is technical, right? So this is really intense stuff, and it's going to take a while to learn, and we don't teach you all of this. So this is like first paint. And if you're going to get really into this, is where your expertise will start to branch off, and you'll become a technical SEO expert doing mobile and speed. And one way, a couple of simple ways to solve some problems are change your hosting, get a dedicated host provider. Usually fixes a lot of this right off the bat, which makes you look like a rock star. But then there's images, and so this is a lot and a lot to understand. I would say I'm just starting to get it more and more, so it's taken some time. I get
to be entirely honest, were they on WordPress? Most of these problems I could fix with that W3 Total Cache app. Most of them like literally would get resolved with that. It does literally solve most of the issues that I'm seeing in that list there. That one tool will save you so much time.
This is where you'll also see image size issues. So images, and we can go through the whole class of images if you like about images, but images should be about 100 kilobytes. That's the size that you want to stick to. We'll go up to 120. So that makes things harder depending on how big the picture is. And just plan on getting in an argument with your graphic designer.
And web developer.
And
don't forget web developers. They're great for getting into arguments with.
So we took a couple notes on that. Phelan's dealing with puppy. And then, so the workflow is usually attached. That's where we add some things. So then we did the page speed insights. Can you add the workflow?
I'm trying to.
Page speed and mobile, right? We did page speed and we do mobile friendly test. And it says it's mobile friendly. We haven't really seen, I've never seen something that comes up that's not mobile friendly. So one of the things, if you notice in the slide deck, that we always make sure that we say are the positive things we found first, because we don't want to rip anybody down for all the work they've put in. Websites are like people's children. And all we're trying to do is get them to start doing the correct things and giving them the right knowledge to make the best decisions for them and their business. We do believe every business owner should own all their accounts and it should be in their name, whether or not the developer is scared that they'll make changes. It's not, they bought it, they paid for it, it's theirs. Same with their digital assets. Same with all of this, like all our information is linked here and they have access to it. So they can take this audit and strategy and go somewhere else if they want. So this is like the foot in door offer. They pay for this and then you tell them everything they need to do and then they can pay to work with you on the things, right? So this is where you really show what you're capable of. And so then if we look at the technical audit, Phelan, you did the technical audit. What notes did you make about that? What are we talking about for their?
I didn't leave anything on the homepage because I spent so much time just trying to make it work.
And so we would mention that. So this one's so each case is special in their own way. Each client, honestly, and this was like really confusing, like where you might want to reach out to your colleagues and be like, I don't understand this. Because if I didn't work with Phelan, I would have had a much harder time with this. And we still don't know the final recommendation we're going to make.
No, I do know the final recommendation based on what I've found. Yeah, basically shoot the web developers that made this system. But if that's not an option, get them to actually install a robot.txt file. I don't think we'll go over that just yet until I go into a little bit more on what happened with this audit, unless you want me to do that right now, Pip.
As long as it's not confusing.
No, what had happened with this website, it's not going to be confusing. There's just a little, Every website should have a little file called robot.txt. And what it does is it tells Google and Bing and anyone else goes over your website how to go over it. So it says these URLs, perfectly good. These ones with admin in the name, do not touch. They don't have that file. So Google doesn't know what to do with their website. And so what do? They just don't rank them for anything. So their search console is a big fat blank. And so, which is
Brutal.
bad. It's
so we know that this is so this website that's doing this, Keller Williams, which is a big agency in the States, uses Brevity, and Brevity is the one that's doing all the blocking. So we know this client might be going and being their own brokerage. So we would make recommendations based on, hey, this is what we found. I don't know what your other options are. This is where it gets out of our depth. Although we do specialize with real estate agents a bit, we don't specialize necessarily with brokerage. We've never run across this. And so our conversation's going to go something like, we've never come across this before, and we can't do proper keyword research for you because we don't have any historical data on. We can do keyword research. We would use other tools like Google Keyword
Ahrefs.
Planner.
That's what I wound up using was Ahrefs and using their free webmaster tools. And that actually brought out a bunch of keywords for their website, which is also in the audit. But that was me having to do that because Search Console, the thing we always trusted, couldn't do that. And so that was not ideal. That is very much, I would prefer not to have done that. But this is the situation that we find ourselves in. So these are things that we want to tell the client as well.
So when you found all these things, it took longer than average, right? So this running into problems ended up causing about another 3 hours of doing audits. So you have to figure out what you think your timeline is going to be and where you're going to stop. But you get tenacious when you can't do something. And so you'll keep digging and trying to there is always a way to find an answer that you want, whether it be, hey, hello, Mr. Client, you need to go talk to your brokerage because you're not being indexed on Google properly. That's what we noticed. But then we would mention all these things, right? Like that they don't have any structured data, which would be schema, and their page titles are too short and they're missing meta descriptions. So we would want to do their meta descriptions. So we would add that to the workflow. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And was there anything else with this audit?
The other big one. So the big takeaways that came from this is one, the thing that prevented us from actually doing the work is something that you want to address with the client. Sometimes like the technical fix that I would have is actually relatively simple. The problem is you're trying to interface with a different company who's like, why would we do that? That's stupid. And then you have to do the back and forth, and it's a little more diplomatic of a problem than it is a technical one. And you'll run into these. And it's not always just about, oh, this is the solution, the solution is actually relatively simple. The other thing that did come up, which is really bad for them, is when you actually go to their sitemap, the sitemap index, meaning like that's the top one, and it says, oh, here we have 2 more sitemaps under it. One is for the pages, one is for the property listings. The property listing one gave me a 404. Now, that's bad. Remember how we talked about 404s being bad? Your sitemap having a 404 is even worse.
Can you show us how you found that, Phelan? Can you?
Okay, yeah. Let me just got to open a new tab. Okay, so what I did. So first, of course, when I started getting blocked, Screaming Frog was getting like, we can't scan any of these pages. We're being blocked. That's when like,
please.
That's what she said. I couldn't help myself. Okay, so generally you go to like sitemap.xml. Usually it's sitemap_index if there's multiple under it, because that's an index of all the other sitemaps. And so you can see that we've got these 2 URLs here, right? So we got one that's the pages, and then we got one that is sitemap for new listings. So I copied that one and I popped it in and I got a 404, which is really bad compared to this was working. This would be really funny if this one was also broken. Not in a good way, but okay. So see here, this one has a sitemap and you can see that it's got the page for communities, property details, search, the index page. So you can see that they've got all these different pages here. So you can see what this is supposed to look like compared to a 404. The other reason why I figured out that the robot.txt file wasn't there is because you should be able to go to it. It should just be as simple as this. I got a 404.
So sorry, can I just interject? So basically
yeah.
these 404s are determining is that Google is not finding the pages that this website is basically portraying. They're not communicating properly.
Yeah.
And
yeah. So these
communicating because there's no robot.txt file.
Yeah, the robot.txt gives it the instructions, check out here and not here. So it's basically telling it where not to go. And then the sitemaps say, okay, now that you know where to go, here's a nice pretty map to let you know that these are all the pages, and the pages, like I have a page called contact, homepage, about us. And yeah, basically the robot.txt, it's just more instructional. And it's really, don't touch it if you don't need to. It's very complicated and easy to screw up. But you just need to know it's there. That's the most important part, which
so if it's
they
not
didn't.
there, your website's not being indexed, basically.
Yeah, let me show you what that looks like for you if you do not have that robot.txt.
This is actually.
This is important. So, because I remember this, but I've always forgotten what the robot.txt file did. But now that you reminded me. So the question is then, it's obviously the web designer's fault, because this should be something that every web designer builds on a new website.
100%, especially if you have a system that thousands of other realtors are using across the US, that I would really want to have this. And it's really like basic stuff. This is not, I'm not like reinventing the wheel by saying, hey, you should have a robot.txt file. But if we go, 100%. And so this is, let me extend this out to 16 months because they've had their website around for that. They've had 223 impressions, 0 clicks, and this is all the queries they have for 300 and some odd pages. So that's not good. That is very bad, because we can see also the other little trigger that should set your brain off if you see this is if you go to index, and then under coverage, you'll see valid, and then you'll see here at the bottom, it says indexed : not submitted in sitemap, which definitely tells me that there's something terribly broken here. And so for the 296 pages that they only had 10 keywords, and they had no clicks. So things are not very good here. But, pardon?
What are the errors?
It's 2 errors. It's 2 old pages. They just need a 301 redirect them.
So we would make mention of that in. Oh, thank you. My mother. It's a yay. What? Thank you. There are 4 chickens eating the vegetables, just so you all know. That's what it's like around here. So this is what we do. We dig around, right? So literally you'll go down many a rabbit hole doing this. You definitely want to schedule out, if it's your first go, to try to do an audit for a business. And I do suggest you all trying this, like trying each of the audits, and then we'll look at it with you if you like. Like it is so much fun, and it would be great to share the process with you. So the next part of, so now we found some problems. Phelan's listed out his problems.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to say quickly for Joanne, you have actually a really good opportunity because you guys are in communication with the web developers. So them fixing these things, great opportunity for you guys to fix those. Whereas like a bigger outfit like these Brevity guys are going to be, I'm going to put it out there that they're going to be difficult.
You know what I've also learned? I will say that if a company comes with they use a web designer, be friends with them, because they're going to be able to do stuff that you will take you hours longer, because each website has its uniqueness.
Hours, it'll
Well, and
take us eons.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
even go there.
So I think the biggest thing is what you're selling, to be honest, is a relationship, a long-term relationship. So you have to like them as well. So watch out for red flags, which we can talk about at a later date. But okay, so we do a couple other audits. This is the NAP audit. So we'll use Moz, and you can just click on
Oh,
this
no, that one.
and you can
Oh, I
put,
didn't fix that one.
okay. So you'd put the Craig McKenzie team in here. So I'd go and get their address, and I just seem to have it here, right here. So I'll just grab that and put it in to the Moz. So and when you do this,
That's company name.
yeah, AIG. So what
Yeah.
you do need
Here,
access.
I'll do it in the background.
Oh, why I'm just doing it. I'm good. Don't worry. It's perfect. So you do need to be connected to their Google business profile if you're going to do this.
Let me just.
And then Phelan's going to do it again.
Oh.
And we actually link the outcome to the audit. And then we also do a right local health check, right? So this is local SEO, real estate agent. And this should be linking to the site. Where is it? Oh, log in. You can get a free account for this. And I should have just logged me right in. Let's try it again. Okay, their link's not working today. Wow. This happened with Moz too. Okay, so those are simple audits, right? Then there's the content audits.
That one got entirely broken because of, again, because the Screaming Frog audit was very broken. Their Google Analytics was completely messed. Their backlinks were a complete mess. And so the content audit that would take in, as we covered last time, the pages, the Google Analytics, and then the backlinks, it just completely broke. It's basically just said, redirect everything. You have 5 pages that are worth it, which probably I would have said even if I got the backlinks. And so we generally, it's what we talked about was like culling. Like they have 300 pages that were found by Google, just probably 200
actually,
of those
didn't
could
they
go.
have, so these guys had 2,500 pages or something.
No, but that included the admin when I just said just any page that it was on their website and it wasn't strategic enough. See, this was the other thing is I just said blunt force. I don't care if there's no index. I just want every page. And it got me like every page, and it was just a little unwieldy. And so then I had to say, okay, what are the ones that Google has found? And so I had to pare it down.
So so with the we can't do the content audit. So that's what happens. Because we got
the takeaway was all the old listing pages probably need to, because they had literally 0 traffic. So they just need to go away.
And usually what we would do is also we would try to do a keyword to page audit, which you'll be learning next week. We'll do our meta mapping and a little bit of keyword research. And the other thing we really do that we have not taken you through this audit, you have seen it. I've actually just finished updating it as of yesterday because I got annoyed. So there is an updated version, but there was something really interesting. So basically you start here, you follow the directions, right? Yeah, add things. What I do is I go through all the things, and if it's an issue, I highlight the row in red. If it's just important, it's orange. If it's not important, it's yellow. And if it's already done and complete and great, that's green. So these are manual checks, right? Because they're a local business. We really want to win with local. And this is where we're going to spend our time. So basically you go through the account level and you're going to learn some of this by talking to them. Like, is their office unstaffed and virtual? Then you have to tell them recommendations. Are they doing keyword stuffing? I actually now, the way the sheet's changed is I'll pull in their Google business info because we use this for NAP later. So I'll take in all their stuff and what's going well. So they didn't do attributes. They have Google automated help your business checked off. I would uncheck that. We give best practices if they want, so they can take it. And we will give links to where to read more about this information. So then we write down all their locations. We confirm with them, are there any others when we meet them? Are you missing any? We say that Google's checked some office hours or wanted you to change hours. So we recommend you do that, and adding more hours. So everything red, right? They did this. I could have put this green, but whatever, it's done. I add their old description and I basically tell them that it's not keyword rich. It's never keyword rich. So for every client, it's not like, who cares? It's the Craig McKenzie team. Like, we don't need their name at the front because it's everywhere else. What we need is that the word home, selling. So they have
Real estate.
top selling. That's good. Real estate. Locations we want in there. We want to make sure there's no links or phone
Numbers. Jinx.
Yeah. We take down the primary and secondary categories, because the categories actually turn into your services when you look on the back end, and then Google will let you have sub services. So here's the thing, most people don't utilize this. I don't know how important it is. Like, it hasn't been, it's just there for a lot of clients. It's 300 characters. You can build it out. You can make it match your products. Is it essential? I don't know. Do I want to fill out everything? Yes. Is it top priority? No.
Google also does a little wink and a nod where they're like, hey, you can put a little 300 words that are keyword rich in here. Is it going to help you rank? I don't know. And they're just like play a little coy with you about
Right.
it.
So I go and I add all the info. So that's in the info section of Google Business Profile. When you log in, it goes home, posts, and info. So you're just going through the whole info, and then you go to the optimization checklist, and you go through. You read the instructions. We go through. Are they duplicate free? You leave notes where you check it. There's resources, all the things. So I literally did this audit myself. You check off that you did it, and you want to know. Okay, so they're not doing attributes, but you know what I found? So there's always unique things you find. These people have linked, so they're doing products, which I mentioned here. They're doing products, but their products, and it looked good at first. I was like, oh, okay. And then I clicked into it. It takes me to a different site. So it takes me to the Brevity listing site versus so I can never get to their website with their products. So number one, eventually Google's going to ding you for doing that, because that's nefarious behavior. Even though, but they probably get away with it because it's not intended negatively. It is their brokerage or the site that gives the listings, but they're doing themselves a disservice because I am not on their site. I never get to their site from their Google My Business products. So that's a huge one. And that's going to be high top of the list that we learned. And then the services added. Yeah, I put in red. And then the posts, they haven't posted anything since 2020. So I literally go through, I look at everything. And if you go.
Hey, Pip, can I quickly interject? I found something that made the links in the products even worse.
Oh.
So in one of the products, the most recent one, they used a bit.ly link to go to the Brevity, which is definitely not the way to do it.
It's it is.
Yeah, you don't use bit.ly links in Google My Business posts.
I think you need to be really cautious, because I think if you're using Google My Business, the strategy is basically you mimic your website in Google My Business or Google Business Profile. Your products link to your services pages, your posts link to your blog. So then we go through the reviews, which we know are super important. They've done really well with reviews. You want more than 2 sites. And we keep going. Is their messaging turned on? There's now a phone. Phone is in there. Product. Okay, there's a section in phone in there that seems to got erased, but they don't have their phone turned on, and they don't have their messaging turned on, or their SMS messaging. So you can actually make it so that you get SMS texts for your clients, when they get a review or a message. And you actually do want to do that unless it's like an app for rideshare. Not that I have any experience with that, because then you're getting a lot of messages. So you just want to make sure your client's not missing messages. So we asked them at this point in.
Why do you not want your client to miss messages?
Because then they miss leads.
No, it's because if you don't answer it within 24 hours, they'll shut off messages.
No, not any. I don't know.
No, they still have that message come out every once in a while. So you want to answer them within 24 hours.
So yeah, and then we keep going. So I noticed, so the big one takeaway from all of this was they're not utilizing Google Business Profile properly. They're actually using it in a negative way. And then the other thing we always take note of, which seems to be really important, is the photos. Are they dripping photos? Because we use a photo drip strategy. We've learned it works really well. You name the photos, you rename the photos, download them, rename them, upload them, named, and you slowly drip them. And that's just something we do. And we try to recommend that people give them a challenge of take a picture of day around your work. I don't care if it's a pen. And so basically that's what happens. And Phelan and I discuss, and we would go back and forth of, oh, did you see this? And whoa, look what I found. And it all transcends into this. So we take this sheet after we filled it out. We don't change the top part because we just add their data studio link, which you'll learn to do. Oh, I think that's the next class actually. And we talk about the audits and findings, what we found. We talk about their competition and what we found. And we usually do another slightly manual check on this sheet, competitor info. We get competitors from our clients. We get the top 3 to 5, and we go through what's their categories, like how many reviews do they have? Are they doing posts? Are they doing images? Like, where are they winning and you're not? Where are you winning and they're not? And they gave us 4 lists. So if we find other people, we would add them here. And we also use, now I told you all, you can use this tool, you get 5 free a month, which you can do your audits. So I use GMB everywhere. So it's linked here, but you basically would go to Google Maps, right? And go to the maps. The fastest way to get there is click there. And then it should give you, I don't do the teleport because it just takes me right in the middle, but you can move it around and see how they're going to rank. But I look at their review audit if I want. It takes a few minutes or a minute, so it'll bring this up. You're like, oh, that's not great, but then just wait. And it'll give you it's just pulling in all the info and it's looking at them all, and eventually it comes up with a pretty graph. Now you do get 5 free a month. So I did pay for this tool because I liked it. But what's really interesting when you see here, when they get a negative review, look what's that, like it just drops you right down. So they just got a negative review. So what would I tell them? Bury it. They have 175 reviews. So you can play around with that tool. And we do that. We do a post audit. The post audit doesn't tell you the dates. So it's better to manually check things like when did they last post? Because these people posted last in 2020. So there's huge, basically you're looking for your huge opportunities where you can make the most difference. And yeah, so those are all the audits that we do. Then these are the sheets we work in. We talk about those and we give them the workflow, which has the strategy at the end where we break down what we do with the website, what we do with local SEO. So I would fix their Google Business Profile products, make new ones, brand it, make them go to the main pages of their site. So as I remember, I said, mimic their site through Google Business Profile, create an image strip strategy. So then I would tell my Janet, we call her my Janet, she's our graphic designer. And I say, hey, Janet, I need a new picture. And it's going to be like So it looks like we need to fix technical with these guys first. And then we want to focus on the on-page and the off-page stuff. So the off-page stuff we might include as Google Business Profile because it's technically off-page. But so that is basically how we do it. And in the end, we know we overwhelm the client. And at the very end, we say, okay, and you have access to all this stuff. You can take this, you can go somewhere else. And we are actually redeveloping our next sales step because we usually only give people one option and we want to give them 3 because we don't charge enough is what's happening. And yeah, so then we go through what's relevant. We try to do some education and we tell them how we do our keyword research, what we use, what other people use. We talk about NAP, zombie pages. We didn't have the ability to find those. Phelan, what are zombie pages?
Zombie pages are going to be the pages that are like your tag pages. We talk about those, your author
Pages.
Yeah, weird little pages that don't have any content on them. So you definitely want to figure out what they are. And I think we talked about canonicalization, and you just want to make sure that they just get swept away.
Yeah, so then I put the roadmap in there again. I recap things and I basically say, there you go. What comes next? You pay us to fix all this stuff or work with you monthly. And then we say, from this point, you say, okay, it's great. We'll send you over a new contract and an invoice. And then we'll get on the road to doing things and we'll try to meet monthly. Nobody wants to meet you. Just so you know, everybody's busy. So you try to do as much as you can and you ask about approval process. What do they need approving? I believe personally, anything front facing, the client has to have a view of. So meta descriptions, stuff like that, even if they don't understand it, because it is their business. And so then we deliver that and all the goods and the stuff. We send the recording of the meeting. We send them their data studio. Have we been able to create that, Phelan? No. Yeah,
No, I was so focused on just like getting the
we had
audit
a lot
done.
of problems.
This is hands down the most complicated audit that we've ever done, of just like roadblock after roadblock.
Yeah. And then we send them, we go through the report with them at the end. We're like, here's your prize. And they won't understand a lot of the terminology. So our job is over the next 6 months to slowly educate them on what is good, what is bad. We try to add things like, hey, goals are, right? Goal completions, their mail to link click, their newsletter signups. And don't worry, you're going to get your very own report. And it's going to look like this. And we're going to teach you how to make them. Next, I believe. I'm too excited. There's too many nexts. And yeah, and so we go through this report with the client and we are taking things out. You can put a whole lot of stuff in these, but you got to find out what the client wants to know, because that's the only important stuff, unless you can educate them on what they need to know. But do they need to know sessions per page or sessions per time or pages
Yes, they
per
do.
session? They do not. They
Yes,
don't
they
care.
Yes,
So,
they care a lot.
but so for local SEO, we do a Google. I love this. I'm just going to show you this because I have the time. Oh, please. It usually looks a little different than this. Yeah, so they don't have any data. So when you do local SEO, the things you're going to be reporting on are discovery search impressions, mostly. And you're going to take notes. So you get your first report, you download it, you save it, because you're going to look back at it depending on. So you have to save a PDF of your report monthly. So we're starting to do manual tracking and making sure we have downloaded versions so we can see what's happened, because a lot of businesses are cyclical. So you don't want to measure last month to this month. You want to measure last year to this year. So you have to make that distinction for them. But so we'll go through the reports and we'll take note, and then we start working with them permanently for 7 years or until they're dead. I'm hoping. But that's just my little joke. I want to be like an accountant. How did you all find that? Overwhelming?
A lot of
Straightforward.
information.
A little overwhelming, but also inspiring. It's nice to see like the structure. Like I liked the one overview page where you're like, these are all the spreadsheets. That was helpful for my
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah. It is a lot of, there's a lot of chaos that is going on when you have all the audits, just because there's so many elements that go on with how they're interacting with Google and their website and everything that's going on. So it's, even for us, we're totally overwhelmed at the initial point where we're just kind of like, okay, let's just take some notes on each of these. And then you basically can start figuring out going, oh, that's a really big mistake that's going on there. And then you can identify, okay, here's top priority, here's medium priority, here's low priority. And then as you start to figure out these ones, and it becomes easier over time as well. But yeah, just keep in mind, it's as overwhelming for us the first time we open up the project workflow and the slide deck and have all the audits and we go, bah, and just have to, it's like a detective's, not like a detective game where you're trying to like, okay, piece these parts together into making it into a plan that will get them from point A to point B.
Yeah, because what is your job as an SEO? To bring them more traffic. Once they get more traffic, you can convert the traffic. Now, we've had to try to convince people that they don't need more traffic. They just need to convert their existing traffic, because and that's where, as an SEO, you're going to start to use deductive reasoning. Now, some things are really hard to communicate, like telling somebody they don't need more traffic. We never got it through to them properly. They never took that on. They just wanted more. They didn't realize that if they converted what they had, they would have been winning, because it is all about money. In the end, it's all about the sales you help your clients make, so the customers you help bring them. And yeah, it's a long journey, but no website's perfect. Did you know that?
Yes. Hey, Pip and Phelan, this is new, right? Because we've been doing SEO audits with you guys we tried it and we've reviewed some for our other clients before, but this one seems to have a lot more sheets, I noticed. Like,
this is so we decided a couple classes ago that instead of just doing theory, we would take people through exactly what we did. So each audit we do, the only audit I didn't go through was the Google Business Profile audit. But y'all, I'm going to switch up the links in the class, so you'll get the new one because it's improved. But yeah, so we went through all of those because we wanted to show people what we actually do. But because it's one thing to get the theory, like I have a whole class on image optimization, yet from what I'm seeing people doing is you're all coming to class and you're all taking it in and stuff like that, but the implementation is hard and scary. And so that's why when you signed up for this class, you all had a website to work on, right? Now you're each going to run into details like can't get access, or so you're literally going through the process of what it's like to have a client to do SEO for, like where are the hiccups? And this is honestly, we're trying to save you some pain, because where the pain points are access and then education. And you have to realize that an audit, when they pay for an audit, they're paying for you to review their stuff, and then they're paying you to sell them something else, right? Which is working with you. And you're creating a partnership, because if they go, like, there's bad people out there doing really bad things, like, and people don't understand why. We have a company that left us and they're going to another SEO agency, and I said to her, hey, let's meet so I can give you all this stuff to save them time, which they don't want to save time. Come on now, everybody wants to make money, but then they could do better things versus redoing something. And so if we're all a team, people have to hire us for the rest of their lives. Who's kidding who nowadays? Like, the internet's moving so fast. If you get a specialist in your pocket, hang on, because 5 years from now, they're going to charge a lot more. So, and that's where we win. We are very fortunate we entered these professions. So hold on your hat. We're going to be really busy. So it's overwhelming, but I do have some homework for you all. I would like you to do audits, an audit, whatever audit you want. And then I want you to come back to the table next week and tell me some things you found. Because it's just sleuthing. So you just got to sleuth it up, whether it be for you, your sister's site, your cousin, your brothers, your great aunt, or your own, right? Or clients. Like, because if we do it together, the fear will stop, because that's what's stopping you. I know, because when I get overwhelmed, man, all I want to do is stare at a blank wall with some music. Yeah. So who is up for the challenge? Yeah. Great
I
guy
will
thing.
volunteer Kyle Pip because he's doing one for a client right now.
Okay,
and
awesome.
he's
Nice.
almost done, but he was using a different sheet, like the one from last year.
Yeah,
With
he's so.
something.
Which audit's he doing? Is he doing?
SEO audit, like just, I don't know, Kyle, can you say? And then, so now I just asked him to just do this for this sheet because it seemed more comprehensive.
Yeah.
Everything there.
If you go to the first audit class in Kajabi, it will have the slide deck. And
Mhm.
when you download the slide, click on the link. Don't download the PDF.
Okay,
Click on the link, and then that slide deck will give you all the links to all the
Perfect.
audits, like all the templates.
perfect.
Yeah, they're all
Right.
copies in there. So all you have to do is go through it and just click on
Click
each
on them,
one, and
and
it'll
then
just
you
make a
get-
copy of that, and then
Yeah.
you've got them all.
You get them all.
Okay, awesome, perfect. Yeah, I guess everyone will be showing theirs next time, but
Yeah.
just ask Kyle to make sure he shows you.
Now, it will take so I would give yourself about 2 hours. Whatever audit you pick, give yourself 2 hours. And if you're really chicken and you don't have much time, you could just do the easy clicky ones where you just get, oh, is it mobile friendly? I actually really want to test my own site with mobile friendly because I was told that if I took off my chat widget, it would speed up my site because I have a really poor mobile score.